Cersos because they don't care about any of these Crown Road shenanigans.
You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Welcome back to the Eternal Tournament Series, Season 1, Week 8. This is the finals of our first weekly with Dead Reckoning. I am Gabe, also known as Calendir, and joining me in the booth for this final match is Loco Pojo.
Yeah, one more exciting round today. We got Suckleg's Elysian Midrange. I think we haven't seen this deck yet. It is running 4 Praxis Displacers amongst other things, but really big, interesting pile of cards. The new card, Doraka Queensguard, is one of the curved toppers here at 6, and we also have World Bearer Behemoth. We have Sandstorm Titan and False Prince. There's a lot of good stuff going on in this deck, and we're going to see exactly how far I can get with its delightful new stuff. And in the other corner, we have Second Blue with this Xenon mid-range list that we've seen so much of, and we know this is a very, very solid list. Xenon has traditionally had problems with Elysian mid-range in the past, but Second Blue's list is very well constructed and a little bit lower to the ground than Suckleg's, so it's possible that he's going to be able to stick some more wins off of that consistency and in a best of 5 come out victorious. Not sure who's exactly favored here, and that's what's exciting about it. Let's go ahead and see what they're up to and get running into some games.
Yeah, as the players get started here, yeah, traditionally Elysian midrange would be pretty favored because the game is inevitably going to get to a board stall in a lot of these time-based matchups because there's not a lot of removal going around, and then eventually Crystallize comes down. But Suckleg only has 1 Crystallize in his entire 90. He's got Praxis Displacers, which make a big difference, and Cersos, which can attack into the board. He's also got the main deck Dorakas, which are, like you said, really powerful and are really good board stall breakers, but not in the same way that Carnosaur is, because if Carnosaur trades for something and then dies in a double block, at least you got 2 cards out of it. Doraka, though, once he goes down, that card he's frozen comes right back.
Yep, there is some overwhelm advantage to Doraka, of course, which is a big deal if you're trying to play down over your opponent. However, the one thing that notice here is that Second Blue has the Xenon obelisks, and the obelisks are actually really key to beating out other mid-range lists. Suckleg isn't running a single one of those. He's running entirely a deck of threats. He's trying to go fairly aggressive, and so Second Blue's lower curve might really help him out here. It's gonna be tricky to see. Both players have already played out 1 power. They've jumped the gun a little bit. Second Blue's looking at a hand with 3 power out, and won't be able to play anything too aggressively because all of that power is depleted, but he gets to do a little bit more.
Yeah, so I think if the game stalls and goes really late, I favor Second Blue just because of the obelisks and stuff like that and the consistent card draw. But if the game starts to get a little bit more aggressive around the mid game and Suckleg can power out all his threats on curve, I think he just has the better card for card, aggression there. He's going to be able to play the Dorakas, the Praxis Displacers are huge tempo. And if he were to get something like Ageless Mentor early in the game or Initiative the Sands into something big, that would just end the game pretty quickly.
Yeah. Second Blue has to decide whether or not he wants to keep a power here. He's playing Blister Sting Wasp into the Sandstorm Titan, which is certainly a good trade for him, but he really wants to find some Titans of his own. If he doesn't have some big units to play down, then he's never going to match up against Suckleg's equivalently large units. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that turns out. Suckleg not attacking into the Blister Sting, going ahead and letting that happen, using Amber Acolyte to pick up a little bit more power and secure some later game threats.
Yeah, Second Blue, not developing anything super great here, but he's able to stall out this Sandstorm Titan, keep his life total high, and that's probably good enough for now. He can play this Interrogator, and then he just gets to sit around with this Initiation in hand and potentially start drawing cards.
Yep, Suckleg is looking at a Doraka, which is pretty cool if he can get it down, but
Well,
isn't going to stun a Sandstorm Titan or anything like that. So,
yeah, check out this Ageless Mentor, though.
oh
So
yeah,
that's
Ageless
a
Mentor is a
9/9
great card
Doraka.
here.
And
Like, Ageless Mentor is actually one of the cards that Suckleg can play to secure a win in this game. It's not as good this late, but 2 big things is still pretty good. And a 6-drop 9/9 Overwhelm is something that you just can't easily deal with.
yeah, I think the biggest thing is that it makes Praxis Displacer a real threat.
Mm-hmm.
Because 9/9 to 7/7 is, Doraka was huge anyway. It matters, but not in the same way that I think Praxis Displacer's larger tempo advantage could matter. But like you
Yeah.
said, it's a bit late. Doesn't make as much of a difference as it would have on turn 3 or turn 2.
Yeah, there's something to this amount of like sheer raw aggression. Second blue is really looking for cards like banish, cards like he doesn't have the banishes in the main board actually. So I think he's just looking for like straight answers, and he finds an Xenon interrogation for his Auric Interrogator, which does give him a huge amount of extra power and also gets him to his first obelisk of the game.
Wow. Okay. Crystallize from Suckleg is the draw.
Ooh, the
That
one of
is
crystallize.
huge.
It's
And
a big deal.
critically, before second blue can play his obelisk, so it's going to wipe out these temple scribes.
Yep, like he can do it in a bunch of different routes. I don't know if he wants to crystallize here so much as develop one of his immensely huge units. So the temple scribes are probably going to stick around, but like the crystallize is what offers the potential for Suckleg to just win the game off of his Daraka and his
Yep.
Sandstorm Titan. He's slowly chipping away at second blue's health. He only needs second blue to be below like 15 or so to get a crystallize win.
Yeah, so I think second blue's going to lose this game unless he plays Titan, and even then, he has to play. It's very tight here. This is just the 9 damage from Daraka is a very fast clock.
Yeah, Titan kills Titan, and in that duel of the Titans, perhaps he's doing okay, but he actually doesn't even throw the Xenon Initiation here. Just gets another Sandstorm Titan on the ground, and I'm not sure if he's like trying to threaten Annihilate here and scare the opponent off. It's a little bit hard to say why he didn't Initiation there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he needed to, but he doesn't know.
All right, well, there's Displacer. Displacer plus Daraka is a pretty big threat. That means that Suckleg gets to push a bunch of damage here, and the Crystallize is, of course, going to be very likely to win.
But there is a triple block available for this Sandstorm Titan.
Yeah, pretty decent block. Could just be a double, I think.
I think he's just going to chump it, or I mean, he has chosen to chump it instead, which is very good because of the Crystallize and the Temple Scribes not being able to really do anything else. But he doesn't know that.
Yeah, this is almost a perfect pull. Blister Sting Wasp plus Initiation kills Daraka, which is a very big deal. Sandstorm Titan blocks Crystallize, but I mean, he's at 10, so there's probably no chance that he recovers even with that excellent play. The Blister Sting Wasp is free, but he's at 9 health. He's got 1 blocker against 3 attackers. Crystallize is just the win here.
Yep. And that'll do it. So quick game 1 to Suckleg, drawing the 1 of Crystallize.
Yeah, that 1 of Crystallize is definitely going to win that matchup. And second blue goes down. Got to go into the next round without sideboards, and we'll see if you can pick up anything better.
Yeah, I think, if we get those aggressive starts, if we get to Crystallize, Suckleg is definitely favored. But, as we saw, like, once those threats start coming down, if Obelisk comes down, the blocks get really good for second blue, and Interrogator just pulls them through with the card draw.
Yeah, second blue really wants to pick up at least one of these pre-board games because he's actually doing okay in the post board. He's got the Annihilates and the Banishes, which are both cards that he really wants to cycle in to deal with the big mid-range threats. He'll have cards like Extract, which can kill things like Praxis Displacer and gain him some life back. He'll have access to Predatory Carnosaurs and his opponent won't. And he might even actually be able to bring in Cold Blood if he so chooses. Like, all of his sideboard looks good against Elysian mid-range, but Suckleg, on the other hand, is running some cards like Slows, which aren't that great against a deck that caps out at 4. Lunar Magus, which is mostly there for stabilizing against decks that are more aggressive. Scorpion Wasp, which is good in the mid-range, but like not amazing. It's just a straight-up trade. And Staff of Stories, which is a card that definitely does do well, but most of the time you can sneak through it and get at least 5 damage in off of some particular trick. So I think Suckleg is less favored after sideboards, but he could potentially just pick up both of these games pre-board and be in a perfectly good position.
Yeah, if Suckleg wins this one, it's going to be very difficult for second blue to close out all 3. But it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, so here is an Iron into an Iron. Second blue's got to be pretty happy about that with the Dark Return setup, but this does have some problems if Suckleg is pulling out Sandstorm Titans, which currently he is not. He's just rolling False Princes. False Prince, on the other hand, is a really good answer to the Iron, and second blue's going to need some Vara's Favors or some sort of answer to get rid of that. pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, Second Blue's hand is great here, um, especially with Suckleg not having a particularly aggressive start. He really wanted something like an Initiate or Friendly Wisp at least to just make sure that the aggression keeps going or something like that. But with Double Ion, like you said, really hard to get through that. And then now that he's got this Dark Return Sandstorm Titan combo, he's got game for quite some time.
Yep, he's going to feel pretty happy playing Sandstorm Titan down. I'm sure he's a little sad about that False Prince because that means that IN is just not going to be able to get through for a while. But IN's probably there for more of the late game value now because IN does have that great 8-cost ultimate. And if you can play it out later, you're probably going to be pretty happy with it. There's the first Obelisk. That's a very key card for Second Blue because it means that his Sandstorm Titans can trade up with other Sandstorm Titans.
Yeah, and it's also very good against Surso because, then 2 pigs take out Surso instead of 3, and so on. As you get more obelisks, you eventually just don't even care about him.
Yep. The False Prince attacking in now could trade with the Blister Sting Wasp. Seems pretty reasonable for Second Blue, but he might just let it go, play the Sandstorm Titan. A second Praxis Displacer, however, is very obnoxious here. Second Blue can't be too happy about that. And the Xenon Initiation certainly seems like a reasonable pickup since you can use it to kill a Praxis Displacer, gain some life, and have a 4/4 blocker later in the game.
Well, and also just while he has a Dark Return in hand.
Yeah.
Super good.
Just lots of ways to gain life back. He doesn't want Suckleg to push through since he's got a really consistent array of threats, and Suckleg's deck is a little bit more piecemeal, assembling cards in a very specific curve. Certainly the Surso is going to be a very bad deal, though.
Yeah, Surso is definitely the one thing that Second Blue still is going to have to find his way through. Everything else he can manage. It hurts, but he can manage. But Surso will kill him unless he finds a good answer.
We see the second Praxis Displacer here, and now the attack is looking really scary. Like, the block actually looks pretty good for Second Blue here. He chooses to take the Praxis Displacer out, which I understand. He's looking for, like, a better answer, but I'm not sure if it's going to be helpful for him here. We see a Sandstorm Titan, no IN into Initiation. He's just going to play that Titan one more time and see if another Praxis Displacer shows up. Suckleg's getting the push that he needs to make a Crystallize win, but he's also getting the push that he needs to make Surso push through for a victory. So either way, things are getting pretty rough now.
Another Blister Sting is okay, but can't deal with this Surso. Can't killer it, can't block it. Doesn't have enough units to deal with anything here. So might just have to play out this Blister Sting and then try and get an Ion block or something like that. Or, get an attack in with Ion.
Yeah, he could Blister Sting Initiation to kill a Praxis Displacer and then try to block the False Prince. There's not a lot of good options here. He's going to take 6 to 10 damage this turn no matter what he does.
I really like playing the Blister Sting Wasp, passing the turn, and then playing Ion end of turn, and then being able to killer your Titan and then get in for 3 lifesteal with Ion, something like that. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, the lifesteal with Ion's a pretty big deal. Basically just means that he's racing a lot better against the non-endurance deck. But he's got to block some pretty tough customers here, and the Surso is probably going to be Xenon Initiation.
Yeah, and obviously he didn't see the Reinhardt coming down, which is what I was talking about that play. But once the Reinhardt comes down, that play is gone.
Yep, Ion knocks heads here, gains him a little life, but keeps him a Sandstorm Titan, so he's still flush on blockers, feeling a lot better about life there. Xenon Initiation kills the 6/6, but doesn't gain him a lot of life, so he's got to figure out if that's the right call or if he wants to go for something else.
I think what he really wants to do is get out 3 dirtly units like Blister Sting Wasp, Temple Scribe, so he can actually block this Surso, but that's not really looking like a possibility here.
You can't do it forever for certain. There's going to be more Sursos, so the longer you wait on that, the more difficult it's going to be. He only needs 2 Dirtly units over if he actually gets the Obelisk down, so he basically just needs to stabilize, and that's not happening yet, but it's getting closer.
So here, we get the free block on the False Prince. Suckleg just knows how much damage they're getting in for, and that Surso just can keep coming in. So he's just taking advantage of that, trading in some resources to get Second Blue's life even lower.
Sandstorm Titan here's a big deal, forcing a lot of interaction. Second Blue's got to drop Ion to live, and that means that...
I think this isn't so bad. This is... Okay, he can gain 2 life off of the Temple Scribe. with Devour, and then if Ion gets to actually block something, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to see. I think we're just going to see the two big boys or just Surso come in, and that
Yeah.
play won't work out.
Suckleg being very, very careful here.
Oh, isn't he dead?
Yes, he's dead if he
He
devours
just
the pig. So he's messed this block up a bit, I think.
yeah. I think he killed. Yeah, I think he meant to do something else there, and just forgot.
All right, so he's got to devour his own Titan here. That
Oh,
keeps him
now he can devour
alive.
the pig.
Another Devourer eats the pig. Yep, gets him up to 8. Aura's Favor, Lunar Magus. None of those cards are helping against Surso, so Suckleg takes 2. And that's bad news for Second Blue. As much as he's going to be happier in the post board, this is a lot of stuff that's not really helping him out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly was the right play. I know that was the wrong play. I think he thought for a second thought he could block with Ion as well and gain some life, but obviously Surso would just turn that into a pig. He could have.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was not flush on good choices there.
he could have thrown Ion to the wolves, but he had already selected his blocks. Is the problem? Once you realize that.
Yep, it's a pretty rough situation. Ian is, you really want to get the life gain off of that, so you're hoping for your opponent to attack in with a 2-1, but it didn't happen that way, so he had to devour a bad target, and that didn't really work out for him either.
I think he could have played the Ion, blocked with it, and then devoured one of the pigs, and he would have lived, and kept his Titan, but it still would have been not. It was a losing situation no matter what.
Yeah, he could have also lined up 3 pigs in a row, Titan, Ion, and Temple Scribe, but yeah, it's not great. He really needs to get a little bit of breathing room to set up his Xenon Obelisk.
Yep. So players are going to get to go to sideboard here, and that is Suckleg up 2-0, which means that Second Blue has to win all 3 games for the reverse sweep to win the series.
Yeah, we'll see if he can pick some up. Certainly the sideboards favor him a little bit better. Just tons of good removal here. He can cut out some of the chaff and focus on the really, really big aggressive units, move up into Carnosaurs, which are critical in this matchup. He can, just keep relying on those obelisks and those ions to get some cool damage across. I think he's got good options.
Yeah, so he's got 10 cards that I would want to bring in, which is a lot of cards. So the question is what to even take out. And I don't think he can even take out 10 cards. I think Lunar Magus can probably go. I think potentially you don't need all of probably Devour can go.
I'd cut the Maguses and I'd cut the Interrogators even. I don't think he's looking for a constant source of card draw, really. I think he's looking for basically the ability to just play bigger stuff than his opponent. And to that extent, you could cut cards like the Devours. You could cut things that, don't really do a lot for you. But he needs some source of draw at least. So it's either Interrogators or Devours.
I like Interrogator over Devour because it's more consistent. I think you want the Interrogators and you just want to keep getting closer to your obelisk and whatever. Interrogator is an important part of your late game inevitability. The thing that I don't like about Devour is that Devour is at best a 2-power draw 2 cards, right? And that only happens in this deck when your opponent is trying to remove your units, which does not happen very frequently in this matchup.
Yeah, it frequently is a 2-power draw 3 cards, or at least something that gains you a bunch of life in addition to drawing the 2 cards. But
no, because even when your unit when you're like getting rid of a unit that was going to die anyway, you're not actually getting another card of that. You're just like, oh, I have a chance to play my 2-power draw 3. Your unit is still dying.
It trades for a 3-card advantage against fast spells, but it isn't always that great of a deal, and it's pretty bad against overwhelm units in particular.
Sure. But looks like players are still sideboarding. There's a lot to think about here from both sides.
Second Blue has a lot of choices to go through.
Yeah, on the Elysian stuff
side,
do you think Unseals have a place here coming in from the Elysian side? Do you think he has enough of a board advantage that he can bring those in?
I don't super see it. Unseal's nice against Xenon Initiation, and that's about it. You can counter Devour, you can counter Vara's Choice, but both of those are pretty low percentage. Xenon Initiation is the only card that affects the board in a way that is really, really critical to you. And even so, that's taking in a 2-cost card to counter one of your opponent's 10 2-cost cards. You're never getting excellent tempo out of it, and potentially you're just going to want to play more mid-range units.
I think that he might bring in some amount of unseal if he believes that post board, second blue is going to be bringing in banishes and in cold blood, right? Because then you're starting to trade up a little.
Yeah, it could be. There's a wide array of interesting options, and hopefully he finds the ones that he's looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really interesting. Also, the World Bear Behemoths and the Durakas, just all of the 5-drops, the Durakas, the World Bear, the Surso, all of that is just so much power. Like the biggest differential between these two decks is one deck is just playing 6-drop, 5-drop cards that just immediately are big dudes, and the other deck is playing Xenon Obelisk that eventually is worth way more power than any of those cards, but it takes quite some time.
Yeah, it's the 4 Praxis Displacers that really make the difference here for Suckleg. He's just getting so much gas out of that, and it's a tricky situation to beat.
All right, looks like players are in their match here. So from second blue's side, not a bad opener. 3 power, a monument as one, and then 2 Blister Sing Wasp plus the Dark Return. Dark Return plus, Blister Sing and Sandstorm Titan. Those are your 2 best targets, basically. So I don't mind this hand at all.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of good stuff out of it. There's certainly a reasonable amount to work through, and we'll see if second blue can pick up what he needs.
And on the other side, Suckleg has brought in slow.
Okay, I'm surprised by this play just because, second blue doesn't have anything higher than a 4-drop. But, yeah, if you get an Obelisk or a Sandstorm Titan, that card is basically gone, and it's hard to get it to play later in the game.
Slow is also just a pretty good card. Being able to know what's in your opponent's hand is valuable.
Yeah, it's really, really nice to be able to have total information, and anything that gives you a peek is potentially worth all of the trouble that you put out to make sure that it happened.
So there's the first Obelisk, and not bad here with already 3 units on the board.
Yeah, he's got Obelisk pretty much ready to go. Wait, whoa, what? Okay. I'm a little surprised by that block, but I guess that makes sense. There's not really anything that makes the card bigger, so he just prevents all of the damage to his face.
Oh, right. It plays around Overwhelm. That's what it plays around.
Yeah, I think he correctly recognized that Suckleg didn't have anything that could actually hurt him there, and blocked accordingly. So clever play from second blue. I certainly wouldn't have seen that.
Yep, and you really don't mind getting permafrosted here.
Yeah, this is the first game where second blue has been able to successfully develop a Xenon Obelisk, and that is going to be critical. He's got so many more options now.
Well, the biggest thing is that Suckleg is just stuck on 3 power, right? And that's given second blue so much time. Second blue's already at 7 power, almost at 8 to play the Sandstorm Titan that got slowed.
Yep. Yeah, there's not a lot that Suckleg can do here. We see a block to basically just kill that. I'm surprised he didn't block with the 2/2, actually, considering how he did it last time. But yeah, he's now got the option of Forest Choicing, maybe getting some 4-drops out of the way, forcing his opponent to be stuck on 4 instead of stuck on 5. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, he's got to take the Sandstorm Titan for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's a case for Surso. Surso's a card that he just can't deal with, and yep, there it goes. All right, so the card that is the biggest threat to him is gone, and he now knows exactly what's coming up. He knows it's going to be Duraka. He knows it's going to be Titans. He's got his own Titan, so he's fine by that, and he's probably a little bit worried about whatever the 2 remaining cards are in Suckleg's deck, because you've got to know that they're gas. So we see Sandstorm Titan here. Unsealed does counter Dark Return, so that's going to be pretty good for Suckleg if he can get rid of this Titan in the first place.
Definitely, and now as the Obelisk is established, it's just going to be really hard for Suckleg because he no longer has that unit size advantage.
Yeah, we see second blue considering a Dark Return, but definitely going for the Dawnwalker at least. That thing charges in against the 5/6s with ease, and it's feeling pretty good for him.
Meanwhile, Suckleg, though, does have that 1 Crystallize, which is huge, right? If Suckleg can just manage to get down enough boards, enough units, hold down a board stall, and get to a point where a Crystallize is just lethal, he can still win the game easily.
Yeah, second blue can use a Vara's Favor here to secure a little bit of damage. I'm kind of surprised by this attack with the Sandstorm Titan, since it pretty obviously trades.
Yeah, he has nothing else to play. He wants to play this Dark Return.
Yeah,
obviously,
it's going to get
he
unsealed.
forgot that it was 8 cost. as well.
True enough. And then Avara's favor kills the 2-1 if he wants to, or he could just attack with the... Yeah, he's looking pretty good this way.
Yeah, Suckleg has False Princess, so the Vara's favor has more potential value than
Yeah, it's
just
true.
Amber Acolyte.
Could pick up a lot of things. This Crystallize is more of a stall tactic than anything. It gets him to Daraka, and it gets him to set up a little bit better. Meanwhile, second blue's just taking some damage off, making sure that he's got enough to attack in later. He does know the Darakas are out, and the Darakas are going to lock down the 6-3 for the conceivable future.
Yeah, so I like that Crystallize because he's at 11, and it's just huge.
Yeah, Dark Return here gets a big old Sandstorm Titan back.
Yep.
That doesn't get the Dawnwalker unlocked, but it means that he's got some good blocks against 7/7s, and he's not worried anymore about Crystallize.
Well, Crystallize, there's only one of, so he.
Yep, there's never going to be another one.
Yep.
Slowing that time sigil down. Time moving slowly for second blue, but not much going on here that he's too worried about. He's mostly just worried about taking damage from too many big mid-range units.
Yeah, so second blue really needs to start drawing some Temple Scribes or something like that so that he can actually play 2 cards a turn. He needs to get that Interrogator out, actually leverage this advantage he has with Xenonovelist, because he's just going to die to these Darakas and Sandstorm Titans. Even though he has, he can kill anything with a block with the Sandstorm Titan, he's just going to be taking too much damage going wide.
Second blue doesn't draw a card this turn. I think he's dead. Oh, but he can block that Daraka, which certainly valuable. Like there's no Xenon Initiation happening here, so he gets this Dawnwalker back as a blocker. In Cold Blood kills another Daraka.
Yep, he's alive.
Yeah, he lives for the next conceivable turn. He can't really attack here. Well, actually, maybe he can. A 6/3 across with a 3/3 blocker. Xenon Initiation is lethal, right?
Yeah.
6/6 against a 3/3. No, okay. 1 damage short.
Yeah, 1 damage short.
Okay, it's looking pretty bad for second blue. He's got Banish here, so if he wants to attack, that's a 6/3 against a... Doesn't quite work.
Oh, no, okay.
I think he's stalled too long. He might have had an attack at some point, but there's no way to answer this. He can banish a single unit, and then the 6/6 is charging, so that's going to be game.
Yep. And that
all right
will be 3-0, right?
Yeah, Legion versus Xenon.
Wow.
Still a pretty rough matchup. Suckleg picks it up completely and wins that tournament. So he'll be invited to the Invitational in the near
Suckleg
future.
Is the weekly champion here. First place for Suckleg. Congratulations to both players. Suckleg on first and second blue on second, in second place,
as the prophecies foretold.
Yeah, as the prophecy foretold. But he is invited to the Invitational as well. He's earned a ton of points. I think he might actually be in the point lead, so not feeling too bad for himself.
Both players have secured the lead and got themselves in a pretty good situation.
Yeah, and so we just went through a journey of primal decks taking over, and then at the end, we saw just a lot of time coming back. So really interesting. The tournament was full of primal decks, and then in the top 8, just the last couple decks ended up being time. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, very good stuff.
With that, I think we're going to hand it over to our tournament organizer, Rekenner, to go over a couple things with you guys and just thank everybody for coming and watching.
Yep, indeed. Thanks, Gabe. Hello, everyone. This is Rekenner, your tournament organizer here. I'd like to congratulate both Second Blue and Suckleg for making it to the finals, and a special congratulations to Suckleg for guaranteeing their place in the Invitational, which is coming up next weekend. He is our 8th and final first place weekly winner to make it to the Invitational. And as the casters are saying, while Second Blue didn't win, he is actually our Invitational points leader for this season. He hasn't had the most success in the last couple weeks, but if you remember the first few weeks of the season, he was basically a lock for the top 8. I believe this is his 3rd or 4th top 8 this season. I have to look up the exact stats, sorry. But yeah, Second Blue has been on a tear. And so he is also going to be in the Invitational next weekend. So next, I'd like to thank all the players and all of the viewers. If it wasn't for all of you, we couldn't be doing this. Putting this tournament and stream on every week is great. I'd also like to thank Miller Tool and Teehee, our producers. Without them, we could not be putting on this broadcast. And I would also like to thank our graphics and code contributors who make our jobs much easier. Specifically, Mengar for his deck image creation tools, and Counterbob for the deck text that we've been running in between rounds, and for spearheading our new tournament recap show, Best of 3, that runs every Tuesday. That is indeed Tuesday at 8 p.m. Also, I thank aReNGee himself. He's the founder of the site, the original tournament organizer, and the person responsible for a lot of work behind the scenes. He'll be the one sending out the invites to the Invitational, updating Invitational points and series points tonight, and working a whole lot, right after this event is over to prepare us for the LCQ and Invitational next weekend. And of course, speaking of the LCQ, aka the Last Chance Qualifier, will be tomorrow. It is a standard ETS event in terms of the rules and structure. It is a Swiss with a number of rounds based on the number of players, with a couple of changes. One, if you are qualified for the Invitational, you cannot play. However, if you are tied for qualified for the Invitational, you may play and guarantee yourself a place in the Invitational. And second, we only play through the top 4. The top 4 players of the Last Chance Qualifier make it to the Invitational. So everyone who is trying to make it to the Invitational thinks they, don't have Saturdays free, but can maybe make Sunday and make some space next Saturday. This is your chance. So I'd also like to give a huge shout out and thank you to our Twitch subs and Patreon backers. They make it possible for us to have our nice prize pools at our events. None of this would be possible without you all. Our $20 Patreon backers are Chuck Hurst, Andre Pakai, Seek Power Gaming, Frosty HS, Team Rankstar, David Anderson, Eric Gosnell, Ryan Williams, and an honorary shout out to you and me and your best friend, aka Why Not, who has been gifting subs to people in Twitch chat. So and you can find our Patreon at www.patreon.com/RNGEternal. And finally, thank you to our casters, Loco Pojo and Gabe, aka Calamdeer. Loco Pojo, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, if you guys want to check out my stream, we stream Monday through Friday, typically with Thursdays off, but sometimes the schedule shifts around a little bit. 7 p.m. PST to 10 PST. And we also stream a little bit on the weekends when we are doing Deck Doctor type stuff or any other type of fun things, including the tournaments and the Last Chance Qualifiers. So go ahead and tune in. I also have a YouTube channel, which is Loco Pojo as well. And we have a lot of cool stuff on there, card breakdowns, meta breakdowns. We do lots of cool brews. We do fun highlights, and we're looking into doing some stuff on the lore of Eternal and talking a little bit about more about that. So feel free to check that out as well. I think that's pretty much everything on my end. So Calendar, you want to take it?
Sure. So I just want to say thanks everybody for coming and watching. I don't have a stream that I do regularly right now. I have a Twitter, but by the same name. But I'm always on Reddit, Discord, wherever in game, people are welcome to talk to me. But I just, I'm really glad that so many people come out to watch. I'm excited that people are still into Eternal. If you can, come watch every week, come play. I encourage everybody. Follow all the, aReNGee other casters and streamers on Twitter and on Twitch and stuff like that. And if you can do anything to support the stream, do that, because it's a lot of fun for me and all the other casters, and it's a lot of fun for the community to be able to have such a cool, competitive scene. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming out.
All right. Thank you once again to our casters, Loco Pojo and Gabe, aka Calamdeer. It's been a long day. Not quite as long as usual. Today was 6 rounds compared to our 7-round average for the season, but talking, even if you enjoy it for 7 hours, is still pretty rough. So remember, everyone, if you want to play in the ETS, it is free and open registration. Full registration details can be found on rngeternal.com/ETS and the internal Discord server in the tournament info channel. But once again, remember that The next week is the Invitational, which is not open for registration. You have to earn your way in, but you still, again, have a chance to earn your way in tomorrow via the Last Chance Qualifier. Then we will be taking a break week the week after the Invitational. I do believe, however, that Darkness has promised to run a small tournament with a special rule set, so he will probably be putting up information about that probably shortly after the Invitational. But then we will be resuming weeklies with Season 2 on March 31st. That will be the first weekly of Season 2. So we will be broadcasting the LCQ tomorrow at the usual ETS time. So starting about 12:15 to 12:20, depending on exactly how long it takes us to get the actual broadcast started. But that will be once again here, this channel, tomorrow at 12-ish. And a quick reminder to everyone, if you do not live in a place that has daylight savings time, it will be an hour earlier than normal. Because the United States is starting daylight savings time overnight tonight. Whew. So our usual weekly broadcast schedule is best of 3 on Tuesday. I believe Lights Out Ace is changing his schedule to only be on Thursdays, but he will be resuming broadcasting on Sundays after the LCQ, of course. And then the ETS on Saturdays. So if you haven't followed already, click that follow button. We're getting real close to 5,000 followers on Twitch, which is crazy. But all right, we'll catch you all tomorrow. So once again, thanks everyone and have a good night.